Okay, our next subject is about this style that we do our videos, like the method, and can you be quiet? Do you want us to interview you next? Okay. Then, okay, we're gonna go home. So, that is actually the subject that comes up when we talk about the style of our videos, because there's interruption. And people almost always comment
like over there.
that they find yours truly, the one that runs the camera, the producer who makes all this possible to showcase you, they're saying that yours truly interrupts. And that's, you. Sometimes
I agree with them. He does. But
talk about that.
that is his nature. And I fell in love with him. And it's like little things that we see here. And I fell in love with him. I don't want to stand in it. Stop pulling. He's also pushy. He's a little like Melania said about Donald Trump, that if you punch him, he'll punch 10 times harder. You know, that's how this gentleman is that I fell in love with. And it's like he has many sides, like a beautiful rainbow, and you know, you see one of his characters or sides that he brings out before you. And I think maybe that agitation is there for a reason, you know, it kind of stirs people up, so you can sort of take that in if you want. And he has a way of, as a director, pushing his talent into kind of understanding and seeing things in creative ways. And a lot of times he may use an agitated voice to bring that out in you. And so if anyone has worked with a really incredible director who's on a very creative level and a brilliant level, they will know some of the best directors, you know, out there. You'll hear actors say, you know, wow, they really had a way of working with me, of bringing that out in me. I actually do have a desire to work more in acting and films, and so this has sort of been my first experience of learning what it's like to be in front of the camera, but do it sort of as a reality series, because we're not really giving you anything but the truth about fitness and well-being and being in nature, and so you're seeing a very real side of us. But at the same time, there is the element of creation that's happening, and so this man has a vision. He has a very strong vision in this world of how to bring this art to the world, and you're seeing one dimension of it through the making of Imlila and the series. There's many other sides, like a prismatic effect that I have been aware of. Sort of came to me like prophecy, not to get too deep here, but and then, of course, I think that the rest will just sort of tell itself in what's to come. The story of all the many aspects that he will shape into the story.
Well, that was really interesting what you had to say, and I just want to
because there's a lot of other people that you work with that not everyone is aware of. Other members
I've worked
of your
with
tribe
hundreds of people
that
and brought them out and brought them to their best.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know, some people complain because they focus on my techniques that I use to make that happen, but they're actually not going to give you a very accurate view of what's going on with those types of complaints, because the real full view that you should take is this. You wouldn't even see this person expressing themselves or their truth had they not met with me and agreed to work with me on an ongoing basis. You would not even see her at all or hear her talking on her own or talking in response to my questions. You would not even get this, I guarantee you. So stop talking in terms of the hypothetical. You only get this because I focus on it and I produce it.
In the future, those of you that like to hear more of the softly spoken side
You
of
ain't
me.
going to get it from me.
No, actually, I want to say that I will in the future, as I am growing into my wisdom of how to tell the tale, eventually write and release a story of this into a book form.
Let me ask you something. Do you think all the really sweet, like, idealistic views about Jesus Christ, the real man, are they accurate, or is that just some kind of wishy-washy, dreamy, rose-colored glasses looking view, which is totally out of touch with the reality?
Well, we have to realize about 98% of everything we were told is sort of rose-colored, and for those people that can't really go within and feel prophecy and resonate with reality on that level of having the experience of awakening and seeing, those people will continue the drama and the falsehoods.
How do you think
And so
Jesus
it's
or
important
any other
to
healer
step out of that, step out of those people's spirals and dramas, and then I think that, you know, when you're sitting at the center of truth, you will know the answer to.
and you can give that to them. You can let them have that by bringing them to me so I can handle them. People are afraid because they're identifying and say, oh, I would not want to be in that position. Look what he does.
Yeah, I mean, he might
Because
punch
they're
you.
afraid. They
He
are
might
afraid.
leave you in the woods and tell you, deal with life. I'll be back in 3 days.
I've been known to
But
do that.
let's face it, we put on a pedestal Carlos Castaneda long enough and his stories of how he was taught out in the wilds.
Yeah, there was a
by
lot of
Don
things
Juan.
said about him.
And we put that on
and
the
he
pedestal.
did guide a lot of
So
people, but he's not.
Can I finish? By reading those stories, it helped me appreciate my teacher more, because I came to realize, yeah, some great teachers are going to sort of, you know, use the Chinese method of, you know, going to whip you in the back until you know.
Can you do that
know,
again? I didn't catch
It's
your
like
hand.
kind of whip you,
Okay.
whip you in the back of the head.
Zen
you know.
mastery.
Zen mastery is a form of teaching. We, you know, have to acknowledge that sometimes if we're misaligned and we're out there in the world and we're kind of going through the world and we're like a bobblehead and we don't know where we're going, be grateful that someone comes and harnesses your energy. And I forgot that, but like, it's kind of like they harness you back into alignment. I'm not someone that believes in ever harming people intentionally or animals or children or anything, but I do believe when we're dealing with grown-ups that should be quite aware and awakened, that there's no time to waste. It's time for everyone to wake up. And if I had to take a whip on the ass a couple times, well then, you know, maybe so should you if you're not awakened as well. So
Yeah, I think just that's what people are afraid of, because they've never seen anything like me or my techniques. They've never heard it. They haven't experienced it. And let me just say that they have their choice. If they don't want to get themselves into that, which would be very scary for them, but they should just at least see it for what it is. You've made that choice.
yeah, and keep in mind, I mean, you know, it's has been a beautiful experience, but I definitely took the plunge and fell in love so much, and our life created more life together. So it's kind of like I took a really large piece of the cake that was meant for my destiny.
They're crying because
Other people that are dealing with you aren't necessarily going to be taking on these responsibilities as I have done. They might just be working with you with technological things, and so I know that a lot of your associates that you work with really love spending time with you on these walks and talking, you know, because it's a lot
And
of
making
growth
videos
and
of
potential.
some of it.
But that's not okay what you just did. But you know, our situation is personally between he and I, you know, goes to another, you know, how do you want to describe it, in an arena of life, and so you witness a lot of that passion and some of the drama and some of the things that we share, that comes with, that you can relate with if you have a family yourself.
So, that's probably a really... Keep careful there. Don't push each other when you're hanging on that. That's a broader view on things that you were wrapping up with. And I think it's just to edify everyone and to clarify. Putting this video out there. If I didn't care about what they had to say, I could just ignore them, or I could just have made a video where it's hateful. But if the tape here and all the statements now are on the record, they can listen to it, they can really hear it for what it is, even if they were not one of the ones making the complaints.
Yeah, and you know what? I tell him sometimes, hey, be quiet, let me talk too. It's not that I really need people to say it for me. Don't worry, he's aware. I'm very able and capable of communicating with this man.
I'm getting ready for you to speak for me.
We're very
sometimes,
close,
but not much.
Our synergy together is quite magical, and our communications have really developed into a true friendship over the years.
Are you one of the top disciples?
You know what? I've kind of grown out of using biblical terminology.
No, it's not. It's not.
And because I'm so in the now.
I have to just stop now. Buddha was... Were you referring to the New Testament or the Old Testament?
Thank you for carrying my backpack.
Buddha had a lot of disciples. That was circa 550 or so. They don't know exactly, 550 BC. And that's really the first major instance that we hear about discipleship. And that's not in the Bible. That's a part of Buddhism and their records, their scripture.